this very joyous occasion of celebrating Jonathan and Ruth's 70th wedding anniversary. What a momentous occasion this is. So glad you could all join us to celebrate this platinum anniversary. This is something truly great to celebrate.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad, on your 70th wedding anniversary. There are many congratulations certificates from government officials, including our Premier and Prime Minister, on the display table at the back you may want to take a look at later.
We are Jonathan and Ruth's daughters, as you may have guessed, and we will be your MCs for this afternoon. My name is Marilyn Fair, and I'm the oldest daughter.
And I am Norma May Fair,
The prettiest one.
Our husbands, Ken Fair and Bruce Fair, are not related, unless you count being second cousins twice removed related. Since Mom and Dad were married in 1952, I thought, why not have the decor look like a 50s diner? In post-war 1950s, people wanted happy, cheerful colors. The popular pastel colors were pink, turquoise, mint green, blue, and pale yellow. Decor became vibrant and fun with lots of contrast. The flowers in the parfait glass on your table represent a float with a dollop of whipped cream and a cherry on top. 2 straws represent 2 people sharing the drink, as Mom and Dad have shared their lives for 70 years. Also on your table are papers for you to fill out sometime during this afternoon. There are pens on the table for your use. We would like each person here to fill one out as much as they can, or even just sign their name.
Norma May, did you hear about the elderly couple who shared everything?
Everything?
Yes, even their false teeth.
Do you know why the husband twists his wedding ring?
No, why?
He's trying to figure out the combination.
A couple went to a 5-star restaurant. When their meal arrived, the husband said, "Let's eat." The wife hesitated and said, "But dear, you always pray before we eat." He said, "But that is at home. Here the chef knows how to cook." Mom's a great cook, so Dad's been blessed, and so are we.
A man was admiring his reflection in the mirror when he asked his wife if she would still love him when he is old, fat, and bald. She said, "I do."
Before we get started with the formal part of our program, I have an important announcement to make, and that is where the public washrooms are. Now, if you go through the door you came in, you turn left at the elevators, go past the picture wall, and they're located behind the picture wall, just before the old dining room. You might want to write that down.
And you are also welcome to turn your chairs so you're facing the stage. That way you can be comfortable to enjoy the program.
We begin our program this afternoon with a brief history of Jonathan and Ruth's 70 years together.
1952 was a year of bridal showers and 13 weddings in the Eigenheim Mennonite Church, west of Rostern, Saskatchewan. Now, 70 years later, 2 of those couples reside in the Bethany Towers. Besides Jonathan and Ruth, Elvina and Elmer Krause were also married in Eigenheim in 1952. It will be their 70th wedding anniversary in November. Are they here? You can raise your hand. There you are in the back. Congratulations.
7th. The reception was held in the church basement. Ruth's mother organized a cold supper of potato salad, meat, buns, etc., similar to what we will have for supper today. In the evening, the young people gathered at the farm to play circle games like up and down the river and Schlüsselbund. They traveled to Banff for their honeymoon. Ruth was never out of the province before, so this was a big thrill.
Jonathan and Ruth's first home was a 2-room apartment in North Battleford, where they shared the bathroom at the end of the hall with the other tenants. 2 years later, in 1954, Jonathan built a small house in Battleford for their growing family. Marilyn was born in May of that year, and Norma May came along in 1958. Valerie was born in 1963 and was such a blessing in their lives. Sadly, she only lived 18 months.
Jonathan and Ruth were very involved in the North Battleford Mennonite Church and served wherever there was a need. Sundays often included guests for dinner and FOSPA. Jonathan worked as a psychiatric nurse for 35 years at the North Battleford Saskatchewan Hospital, and Ruth worked at the Bank of Montreal from 1965 to 1986. In 1979, they built an addition onto their original little house to accommodate the grandchildren.
In 1986, Jonathan and Ruth moved to Saskatoon as Jonathan started working at the Regional Psychiatric Center. Ruth wanted to be available to the family, so she stayed home to host guests and family gatherings of all sizes. Their home was a place of much love and joy. The meals were so delicious, and overnight guests were accommodated well.
Jonathan and Ruth have done a lot of traveling in their married life. They have visited close to 40 countries. Some of the highlights have been visiting Don and Yomi Unger when they were in Nigeria in 1980, doing the West Coast Trail with Bernie and Dolores Martins in 1991, and they volunteered for a year in 1987 at the mental hospital in Paraguay.
On September 19, 2014, Jonathan and Ruth moved to the towers at Bethany Manor after selling their beautiful home after only one day on the market. They have settled in well and enjoy all that Bethany Manor has to offer. During COVID lockdown, they powered through and learned how to keep in touch with family through Zoom calls and video messenger. Last August, Jonathan and Ruth sold their cabin at Delaron Lake, which they had enjoyed for 23 years. It was also a place where family were welcome to come enjoy the peace and quiet that nature brings.
It was our joy and privilege to gather on August 7th as a family at Bruce and Norma Mayfair's farm to celebrate Mom and Dad's platinum anniversary with them. The whole family was there. The 2 daughters, the 2 son-in-laws, 6 grandchildren with their spouses, and 15 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
You can see a picture of that over there. The 33 of us are all together, and we're in a picture over there. That was taken August 7th. God has blessed Mom and Dad with 70 years of married life together, for which we are very thankful. Their sweet love for each other carries on and is a great inspiration to us all.
Jonathan and Ruth's oldest grandchild, Karina Porter, has a tribute for her grandparents.
Well, I have lots of fond memories with Grandma and Grandpa, who are also known by some of us as Auntie Grandma and Uncle Grandpa. That's a long story though. I am so thankful to have had healthy, young grandparents who were and still are involved in my life, and now in my boys' lives as Oma and Opa. Your presence at birthdays, holidays, music festivals, figure skating practices and shows, races, graduations, etc. made me feel loved and supported. as did how well you listened to my stories about my life and remembered the friends I talked about. You have both done so much to make holidays a special time for us. I remember when Santa came to visit us at your house in North Battleford, and I remember Grandpa's epic Easter egg hunts, one of which ended with me face first in a garbage bin, feet sticking out the top, unable to get back out. The yearly Christmas concerts before gift opening was always special, as was Grandpa handing out the stockings. You always showered us with an abundance of presents at Christmas and birthdays, and put a lot of effort and thought into the gifts, often making us wonderful homemade items. I remember a beautiful wooden shelf Grandpa made and a cozy blanket Grandma crocheted, among other things. Grandma's food also has a solid place in my memories. Her waffles with white sauce were the best, and I think I could eat about 8 of them in one sitting. I also loved her peppernuts, soups, buns, cookies, pies, pasca, and porzelki. So, in my 43 years of life, I have had lots of chances to observe their marriage, especially during those summers when I was doing figure skating summer school and got to be your roommate. They kindly took me in for weeks at a time. These are some of the things I've observed and admired about your relationship. You have so much respect for each other. You don't interrupt each other, but listen patiently, and I don't think I've ever heard you say a bad word about the other. You prioritize devotions and prayer time together. I believe this helps to unify your vision of how to live out your faith. You have served together in many ways, for example, in Paraguay with Mennonite Disaster Service, helping immigrant families, frying welkoeken at the MCC sale, and I could go on and on. And you have given generously to many organizations. And you have fun together. Over the years, you've enjoyed traveling the world, going on cruises, holidays with relatives, completing numerous projects together, and just relaxing at your beloved cabin. You are grateful for and value the family God has helped you create and nurture. You practice hospitality. Your hospitality was instrumental in bringing the extended family together. I have so many great memories of family gatherings in your home. I especially remember one time when a bunch of the cousins and second cousins all had a sleepover, lined up like sardines on your basement floor, and that was so fun. You practice generosity together. Your generosity with your money to help with my schooling and large purchases such as a car and first house is something I am extremely grateful for. Thank you for welcoming us into your home, your lives, and cabin. Thank you for your consistent love. Thank you for your example over the years and for the impact you continue to have on our lives. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.